Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Now listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. Now Taylor has delivered this bad dope to this clerk. Now the clerk is in the cell throwing his guts up. I'm talking about throwing his guts. And his two sellers is tripping like, what in the world do we do? What do we do? Now he's throwing up blood. He's throwing up blood. And they're spooked, because let me tell you what happens. Something happens to him, they might wear that. They might catch the case. So his seller, one of his sellers, he gets up and he looks out the door, and they had already walked around the counter. And when the officer walked around in the counter, he looked in there and he saw all three of them in there, and he kept on walking and didn't really look back to see what was going on. And his seller, both of them was in there hoping that he saw that the clerk was like catatonic. They were wanting the police to do his job. The one time you want these folks to do their job, they don't do their job. You want them to see that, because if they see that, then they got to do something, and then you off the hook from telling it. See, this is how it goes. Let me tell you, this is what happened. They walk by the cell. The police walk by the cell, because it's two of them. They got to back up the count. Backing up the count meaning one of them count and then the other one count, and then they verify that they got the same thing. That's all backing up the count means, right? So they walk past the cell, both of them. Look in there, okay, look in there, okay, and they keep walking. But when they look in there, both of the sellers, they got to make sure they got their earbuds in when they look at the TV. Earbuds is headphones, right? When we have our TVs on in the cell, we got to have the headphones on, because we are not allowed to disturb our sellers. See, that stuff used to cause trouble back in the day. One person got their TV up, and the other person got their TV up. Can't nobody hear it, and the dominant person in the cell turned their TV all the way up, and now it's going to be a fight. So somebody smart came up with a policy, said make them wear headphones. That way both of them, they can hear what they're looking at on their individual TVs. So that's why you do that. So anyway, when the police walked around, both of the sellers, they making sure that they were laying in the bed with the headphones on looking at TV, so that they'll have an alibi and they'll be able to say, I didn't hear nothing. I didn't hear nothing or see anything. But now, the one time you want them to do their job, they didn't do their job. They tripping. They going on about their business. Now, both of them get up and they look at each other like, womp, womp. What we going to do now? This fool is still in here throwing up blood. Throwing up blood in his own trash can. And then they look at him and they say, man, I cannot just sit here and watch this. What if something happened to you? And the tears are rolling down his face. Come on now, picture this. This man is locked in a pose where he looked like a cat. You feel me? His face is twisted up like a gargoyle. Snot is coming out of his nose. Tears are coming out of his eyes. He got blood and spittle and vomit that's coming down his face. You understand what I'm saying? He looks a hot mess. But the problem is this. Here's the problem. Where he look a hot mess. He don't know what it is that he can do about the situation that he's in. He has no idea that the situation is getting bad for him. He don't know what to do. He don't know what to do. So, in short, what he does is he just sits there. Because he's thinking about his next hit. He's thinking about the next time them drugs is going to be available to him. And he can't get none if he go to the hole, so he's willing to take that chance. And they're sitting there wondering what it is that can happen to them. You kind of lock. And being in prison, it almost prevents you from doing the right thing, because when you do the right thing, like I say, they come in and he's sick like that and throwing up whatever, they're going to know he's been on some drug, because they've been seeing this epidemic that's spreading around the compound, and they know the symptoms at this particular time, right? So when they come in and get everybody got to go to the hole so they can figure out what happened. They want to know where he got the drugs. Did they give them to him? Do they know where he got them from? If they didn't give them to him, they want to know all of that. And the only way that they find out that is by putting everybody in the hole and put pressure on them. So even when you know you need to do the right thing, you are hesitant about doing the right thing, because you know you're going to get penalized for doing it. So now that's stuck. So count clear. And the officer comes around, and they're hoping that when the officer, now it's just one officer because the other officer going back to their own side. When the officer walks around, they're hoping that the officer looks in there and sees something, smells something to draw attention to the clerk. They're hoping for anything, so that the officer can say, are you okay? What's going on with you? Look here, the officer popped the door. Don't even look at them. Pop the door. When I say pop the door, unlock the door, and kept walking. because the officers got to unlock all the doors in the building. So they ain't got time to be looking. They got to keep it moving. So now they moving on. And here we go. Here we go. They done got, you know what I'm saying, up, and now they come out and they leave the celly in there. They leave the clerk in there. They going on. And they both hurry off to wherever it is they're going to go to work. They not thinking about them. So they get on down. So, now one of the cellies, he run into Taylor. And Taylor said, what's up with your celly? He straight? So he looks at Taylor. He don't really kick it with Taylor like that, you know what I'm saying? But he looks at him, he said, man, dude ain't doing too good, man. So Taylor said, what's wrong with him? What's going on with him? So the celly, you know, he said, man, dude up there throwing up and everything, throwing up blood and everything. So Taylor looked at him like, what? For real? Now he's spooked. He's spooked. See, because this is what gang members will do to you. See, a lot of times, people think the gang members, they going to come down on you and put hands on you. Now, that's true in a lot of situations. But nah, if they can take care of the business and get the point across without putting hands on you themselves and bringing all that heat, they'll do it. Because what they know is this. This all gangs. This ain't just cuz now. If they can do something to you that falls in line with the habit that you have, meaning you get high, then when the police investigate, the police going to look at it like you done OD'd or you got a bad piece of dope and all this and that, right? They're not going to look at the message behind the issue. They're not going to look at that. But see, IA Simpson is smart. See, she's smart. She does that. But see, the information ain't made its way to the internal affairs or the STG. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, IA Malone, he's smart, and STG Simpson, she's smart too. But they don't know nothing about this yet. They don't know nothing about this. And for some reason, Taylor, he's like, man, this is messed up. This is messed up. Because he knows, look here, let me tell you something now. He knows that he's just one conversation away from being on the wrong side of that dope, where they're, here, take this. And see, look here. When cuz them come to you like that, it's almost like if you take it, you know something's going to happen. If you don't, you're going to get beat down. You feel me? So now he's hedging his bets and he's wondering like, man, I ain't got time to go through that. They trying to kill somebody. I ain't finna go through all that. And if they find out what I got going on, I'm in real trouble. I'm in real trouble. Because what he's worried about is this. If the clerk goes to the hole, listen to me. If the clerk goes to the hole, then the clerk might talk about what's going on out there and his name might come up. Now, you would think that the police don't be caring about who's using this drug and how they're using it. But see, any information in here is good information to them because they can use it as leverage. And if the IA and STG know that they got a gang member that likes to put drugs in their rectum. Listen to me now. I know y'all might think I'm tripping, but I'm telling you what's real now. Games are played up in here. And if the IA and the STG find out that they got a gang member that like to put drugs up in their rectum to get high, they can use that as leverage and turn him out. They make him talk. So now he's worried. He's worried. He gets spooked. And see, when you're getting high, you've been on drugs, whether it be X pills or weed or that ghost smoke or whatever the case may be. See, you can't be really rational like you would be if you were clean. Your mind plays tricks on you. You get paranoid, right? So he starts to think of all these different scenarios. Now, keep in mind, cousin don't have a clue as to about what he got going on. But in his mind, he thinking, man, this clerk gonna talk if he ends up going to the hole. But the clerk ain't even been in the hole. The clerk is sitting in the unit throwing up. But his mind is racing. It's getting away from him, right? It's getting away from him. He don't know what to do. So he panics. He panics. And you know what he did? Man, let me tell you what he did. He ends up going and says something to the building supervisor. And now I'm finna show you how when you make certain moves in here, you initiate a response from the administration. Now check this out. Listen to me and pay close attention. He goes and says something to the building supervisor. The building supervisor has to react to that in a certain way, right? Because they got these standard operating procedures up. They call them SOPs, right? If you say this, they got to do that. It's really idiot proof, you know what I'm saying, for certain people because they want to make sure no matter who the officer is, you know what to do, A, B, and C. Just check off these boxes, and you're going to be able to do exactly what it is that they need you to do so the information can get to the right person. So here's the thing. He goes to the building supervisor. He tells the building supervisor, he whispers, he said, hey, psst, psst. Can I talk to the captain? So the building supervisor been advised, anytime somebody say they want to talk to a person of higher rank, seclude them, get them away from everybody so the conversation can be private. You got to protect them. But see, this building supervisor is not really understanding what privacy means. Now, that means get them in an area where can't nobody see or overhear what it is that the person has to say. So he tells this fool, listen to me, he tells Taylor to come around behind the desk. Now listen to me. When you've been in the penitentiary as long as I have, and as long as some people that I know, if you see an inmate, listen to me, if you see an inmate sitting behind the desk with an officer, for any reason, for any extended period of time, something's wrong. Because we're just not allowed to do it. We're not allowed. They got these lines where we are not supposed to cross. Literally, don't cross this line. This area right here is for officers only. So the officer tells him, come around and sit down. And this fool, because he hasn't been locked up for a long time, and plus he already finna make the move, he comes around and sits down. And when some people come in the pod, like Cuz and them and other peons, they walk in the pod, they see him, but they don't say nothing, but everybody's antennas shoot up. Everybody's antennas. What Cuz doing behind this? And one of the Crips said, hey Cuz, what you got going on, Cuz? He said, oh, nothing, man, I'm just hollering at the officer. So they looking at him. Now see, if you know anything about the penitentiary, you know that's a no-no. You talking to the officer. So Cuz hit him back with that. You talking to the officer about what? He said, man, I'll be with y'all in a minute. Hold on a second, right? It'll be right there in a minute. So they walk away, and he tells the officer, I need to talk to the captain now. So the officer pick up the phone, and he makes a call to the captain. He tells the captain, look, I got somebody down here that said they need to talk to you. It's very, very important. So the captain said, I got to take care of some things. I'm on my way, though. I'm on my way. He said, is he in a safe place? He said, yeah. He's sitting behind the desk. The captain said, wait a minute. You got him sitting behind the desk. Where you got him out in the open like that? He said, put him in a room. So he tells Taylor, he said, man, just go on, man. And when the captain comes, we're going to go in this room back here, you know. So Taylor, he used that as an opportunity to go out there in the pod and talk to the guys and try to soothe what they got going on, right? He wants to make sure that they are rocked to sleep because he's really feeling like he's in jeopardy. Even though the clerk is still in the cell throwing up. Don't nobody know nothing about Taylor and his ex-pills extravaganzas. You understand? So look here. A couple of minutes later, the captain comes into the pod. And he goes to the desk and he's talking to the officer. And then the captain turns around and he points at Taylor. He tells Taylor, you, come here. Taylor walks over there to him. He said, hey, Cap, what's going on? So the captain leaned forward and he said, you need to talk to me about something. So Taylor looks at him. He said, yeah. He said, but can we talk in private? And then the captain said, yeah, we can step in this room. Now, let me tell you something before I get to the conversation that they had in the room. See, this is what you call burning an inmate, right? This is what we call it. I don't know what the administration call it, but this is what we call burning an inmate. Look here. When a situation like that takes place, right, the administration, they'll have somebody, you know what I'm saying, in a situation where they need them. Now, it's a public display. It's a public display because, man, look, if something is going on, we ain't got no business talking to them folks like that, especially if you involved, right? Meaning in rotation like I used to be. And I'm not in rotation no more, but if you in rotation, you ain't got no business being nowhere talking to no police for no extended period of time. Because even if it's an innocent conversation, it's going to be interpreted as something nefarious, and you're going to get hit for that. And unless you like to get punched on, you need to stay away from that. Period, point blank. But see, the administration knows that. Because what they want to do is get leverage over you, right? Now, whether, let's say, at this particular time, the captain don't know what the conversation is going to be about. It can be about anything. It can be about visits. It can be about a family member that got hurt on the town. He's just trying to find a way to talk to his family. It could be something of real concern, not having nothing to do with the penitentiary, but the captain don't know that now. But one of the things they do, them tactics, boy, I'm telling you, them tactics. Just like I say, man, people in the penitentiary always got agendas. Ooh, we the people that run the penitentiary. Listen to me, man. Got to be careful when you cross that line because there's consequences and repercussions for that. So the captain takes him into the back room. Now look, everybody in the building, look, all of them, their head turned towards the back room. And now he's burned. He's gonna get burned because he's sitting there and he's going in his back room, and that's a big no-no, right? We're just not supposed to have those kind of conversations, and they know that, right? So here's the thing. Everybody's watching, like I said. Everybody is watching to see what's going on. And you got all of this time before lockdown. Look here, Taylor sat in the back. He sat in the back with this captain for an hour and a half. And plus, let me tell you this, on top of that, he's on the other side of the building. He ain't supposed to be on that side of the building. He ain't supposed to be on, he live on the other side of the building, y'all. He ain't supposed to be over there, but he in here talking with the captain for an hour and a half. Gang member, Crip. Ooh, wait, what he got going on? What does he have going on? Everybody's wondering. Everybody's watching. Now everybody's thinking, we're in trouble. He's gearing it up. But here's the thing. Don't nobody know what it is that he's talking about. Now let me tell you what he's talking about, though. Let's get to that. Let's get to what he's talking about, what he got going on in there with the captain. See, he telling the captain, he ended up telling the captain that he's in trouble and he needs some help. So the captain gets specific with him, said, you're going to have to be a little bit more specific about what it is that you have going on. So he tells the captain that he don't want to tell him he on no drugs. You feel what I'm saying? Well, not selling drugs. He wants to tell him he using drugs. Because see, if you tell him you need help and you using drugs, you can get the help. But if you selling drugs, man, it's a tight fight with a short pipe. That's all I can say. So he tells the captain he got a drug problem and he owe a lot of people money and he might need to leave, get some help, protective custody. So that's when the captain started flexing on me. He leaned back in his chair. He said, look here. Tell me what kind of drugs you're on, what kind of problem you have, and then we're going to see what we can do to help you. And he said, I need to know who you owe. So cuz like, man, I don't want to get into that. He said, listen to me. This is how they pop you like an old rubber band. Listen to me. Cuz said, I don't want to get into that. He said, look, you done crossed the line. It's over with that. If you don't tell me everything that I need to know, I can't help you because I got to take this to the warden. Now, see, the warden that he's talking about in this situation is Warden on security, Warden Lemons, right? So he calls Warden Lemons on the phone. Warden Lemons said, Warden Lemons said, may I help you? And the captain said, hey, Cap. The captain said, hey, Warden, I got this guy here that he's talking about. He wants some protection. And the warden said, point blank period, he said, put me on intercom. He said, I already got you on the intercom. He said, what's his name? What's your name, son? And Taylor tells him his name. He said, listen to me. We don't have time to be playing. He said, are you on that ghost smoke? And Taylor listened to him for a couple seconds. He said, yes, sir, with his head down. He said, where'd you get it from? He said, sir, I'd rather not get into that. He said, Captain, lock him up. I ain't got time for games. And he hung up the phone. Now see, that's how they do. That's how they do. Now, keep in mind, now, come on now. You already know that they just putting the pressure on him. See, because once you run across that line, and he had already been in the back with the captain for about 15, 20 minutes at this particular time. So once they done cross that line, it's like, now you got to weigh it up. Do I go back out there after I've been in here all this time with no real explanation for why I've been back here, or do I tell them what they want to know? So he's making these calculations in his mind real fast, and he concludes it's best that he tell them what it is that they want to know. So he give up the ghost. Literally give up the ghost smoke. He tells everything. He tells on his own homeboys and tells everything that he got going on. And here's the sad thing about it. The clerk that was doing all the throwing up that he got paranoid about, he's still in the cell. Still in the cell throwing up. He ain't said a word. Not near word. Not near word about what's going on. So look, they said, how do they get this stuff around the compound? He said, sometimes they'll have me deliver it, or they'll pass it through the chow hall, through this other guy. So they said, is that other guy named Raul? So the captain looked at him. He said, is the man's name Raul that's passing it through the chow hall? So Taylor looked at him. He don't want to say nothing. He said, you've already crossed the line. Tell us what we need to know so we can get you some help. So at this particular time, it's an hour in. They sitting back there talking. He give up Raul. Now see, Raul is a cook in the kitchen. He a cook in the kitchen. And see, as a cook in the kitchen, he prepares the meals and then he helps fix trays. He does all kinds of things, right? But Raul is what you call a master manipulator. Master manipulator. Because see, this is what he has to do to ensure his down. He gets rid of everybody around him, right? Meaning the other inmates that work with him, he bad mouths them to the people that he works for so that they'll let him work by himself. And when he gets to work by himself, then he starts to manipulate the area that he's in and personalize that area, because people in here are real territorial, y'all. Real territorial. So he's got his little space, so he gets to hide his stuff in the dining room, right? He hides it in there because why? They're not going to search that. They're not going to search that. And if they find it, can't put it off on him, because he's already muddied the waters against everybody else. So he won't be the first suspect. He might be the last, but he won't be the first. But what he didn't know is that his name done come up 2 or 3 times, and now the captain and warden over security, they're trying to verify that he's that dude. And now that they have verification, it's time for them to make that move. So they tell Taylor, go on back to your cell. Oh, he panicked. Eyes get big as a $50. He panics because now he don't know what to do. Go back to the cell. He said, if I go back to the cell, then I'm going to get in trouble. He said, look, the captain tells him, look, we're going to come and get you. We just got to go verify a few things. You're not going to be able to just tell us anything and then we're going to act on it. We got to go verify a few things. And when we verify what you're saying is real and solid, then we'll be back to get you. He said, man, how you going to verify? He said, we have our ways. He said, do you think you're the only snitch that we work with? And see, that's when reality hit Taylor. When the captain said that. And now the captain totally dismissed him. Now he take the phone off intercom, puts it up to his ear. He said, warden, I got this and that and that and this. I'm finna go take care of this and that and the third. Now, Taylor don't know what the warden has said on the other end, but both of them started laughing. He said, oh, I know what to do. I got it. And he hung up the phone. Now, Taylor, he's sitting there, he's looking at the captain, and he's starting to feel the weight of what it was that just went down. This man has put himself in a position to where now he has to rely on them helping him, and now he's got to go back into the pod though. So when he goes back into the pod, he got to go back to the side of the building that he lives on, and when he gets back over there, cousin them waiting. They waiting, and everybody mean mug. They looking at him. And he tells them, man, I just got to write up. That's the quickest thing that came to his mind. They said, you got to write up for what? He said, for being out of place. So you went over there, you were behind the desk, because they done got word from cousin them on that side. You were behind the desk, you were talking to the officer, and then the captain came down, and they going to write you up for out of place. They're like, yeah, when they took me in the back, they searched me, and they said that I had something on me. I said, wait a minute, do you get wrote up for out of place, or do you get written up for contraband? Which one was it? So they know he's lying, but see, they got to tread water. That's how the game go in here. It ain't SOS, smash on sight like y'all might think. You understand what I'm saying? Not in all situations. Because if you're smashing now, you don't know what's going to be, coming out later on, right? You don't know if he's told on you. And if he ain't told on you, you willing to accept the fact that he might have told something, as long as he didn't tell on you, you're trying to figure out what's going on. So they tell him, they try to rock him to sleep. Hey, cuz, just tell us what you was over there talking to the captain about. And he cannot do that. He can't tell them the real true reason as to why he was over there talking to the captain. He cannot do that. Because if he does that, it's all over. His goose is cooked. It's over with. So he tells him, he said, look, man, it ain't nothing that's going to affect us, man. He said it was about me. I was having a moment. I needed to talk to him. So you lied about the write-up. So see, they trying to put the pressure on him too now. He was like, man, I know how this thing go, man. He trying to hit it like he the real gangster type. I know how this thing go, man. If I tell y'all I was over there talking to him about some personal stuff, man, y'all gonna think I'm lying like you're doing right now. So he looks at him, he said, look, man, it ain't got nothing to do with y'all. Then he just mobbed on off. Now they could have bumped down on him and put him on in the rack, but they were like, we need to wait and see, because see, when you a dope boy in here, what you do is you hope that you can survive. And you don't want to be the one to bring yourself down. You don't want to fire on dude and then bring yourself down if he really didn't tell you. You want to believe the lie. You want to believe what he's saying, but something in your gut is telling you this dude ain't keeping 100. But you're not sure because you don't know what he said. So they let him go on up to the cell. Then hours go by, lockdown town. Now everybody's locked down. And Taylor's panicking. He's panicking because he sees the light on in the clerk's cell. It's still on. But he ain't seen the clerk since he gave him that piece of dope earlier. He been in there throwing up the whole time. And now he's starting to think that he might have overreacted. 12 o'clock comes around. He can't lay down. He's standing up on the door. Now he's thinking, man, they ain't coming. So he lay down. He thinking he's safe. 2 o'clock. Inmate Taylor. He raised up. He's like, yeah. They said, man, take these bags and pack your stuff. We're taking you to the back. You taking me to the back? He get up. And the captain said, you know why we taking you to the back? Come on, we ain't got all day. Now all of a sudden, all the lights in the building start coming on and inside everybody's cell. See, everybody's looking. Everybody's looking. And everybody sees him as he's packing his stuff. So cuz and them, they start yelling, hey cuz, what's going on? And if you want to know what he said, you're going to have to tune in to the next episode, right? It's going to get better. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.